From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is the Midday Report on LALATE.
It's a big midday with LALATE as your reconciliation budget bill has been released, and there's tons of fourth stimulus checks in there. In this recording, we'll go over those checks. Some of them are monthly, some of them are multiple, in that incredible fourth stimulus reconciliation budget bill released. Live from Santa Monica, I'll also have for you the world exclusive, as Bernie Sanders' staff tells a viewer of this channel again, he will be putting a IRS stimulus check in the fourth stimulus recon. You'll hear a breaking news about all the items that are in this reconciliation with the first 645 pages. Checks for seniors, checks for your home, checks for your car, your bike, checks for school, checks for hazard pay. Then we'll cut to cluster number 2 that's likely to get finished for a bill formatting in the next day or hours. That includes checks for your home and checks for staying at home if you have paid sick leave or medical leave. Cluster number 3 are checks for seniors, SSI and SSDI, and checks for workers. And then, out of nowhere, came one of the most exciting great news I've heard in a while. Another $13 billion is going out to your city and your state today to give you more money for rent. So if your city or state was out of money for rent, they don't have it they're not out of the money anymore, because IRS is sending out another $13 billion today. It's a big day with big updates about your third, fourth, and fifth stimulus. This is LA, live from Santa Monica at noontime, starting right now. Hey, good noontime, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful day. And everything seemed to have changed in less than 48 hours. The traffic on the channel is through the roof. The weather is freezing, and there's suddenly money everywhere. Boy, in this recording, we'll go over the money in that fourth stimulus recon. Lots of checks. We'll go over the first 645 pages of the reconciliation bill released. We'll be going over cluster number 2, which has additionally another 12 checks in there as well. Lots of checks for you. Then we'll go over cluster 3 that's likely to get to a vote, to a writing in the next hours or days. Those checks include things for seniors and also checks for free internet. Then we'll cut back over to the real surprise as Bernie Sanders' staff once again confirms the world exclusives you've been hearing on this channel. There will be an IRS stimulus check in there as well. And finally, out of nowhere, Department of Treasury making the major announcement today that it has another $13 billion available, and it's sending it out today for your cities and states for rent and utilities. This is LA, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America, live in the morning, like right now from Santa Monica, and taped in the afternoons. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers at YouTube, record in 1 year. I want you part of this incredible family. Thank you for the last 48 hours of being the biggest growth of this channel in 3 months. You can feel the excitement. I can feel the excitement. There's lots of checks here. There's a lot of money, and there's now another $13 billion announced minutes ago landing today in your cities and states. Subscribe, like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Casino VIP, and sign up for those LA alerts, totally free. The link is in the video. Let's cut to cluster number 1, the bill. The first 645 pages of a very large bill are released. This is just the first 645, and it has lots of checks in it. Let's get right to the checks, and then I'll explain to you what these 645 pages are. Broadly, the checks are hazard pay, checks for cars, vehicles, the home, checks for MSC, $51,000 of it over 18 years, checks for students, and other checks. Let's go over the details of them, starting with the very first one. Hazard pay, back on, baby, lifetime. One of the things I want to make very clear, which I don't think I made clear yesterday, is for stimulus is just checks in general. They are not pandemic checks, so you do not have to have suffered anything for the pandemic to get these monies. Hazard pay is back on, lifetime. What are they doing? They're taking the third stimulus's approach to hazard pay and making it a lifetime change to the tax code. So hazard pay was first introduced to this channel in 2020, and I showed you that it didn't happen until 2021 in the third stimulus. What did they do? They took an old tax code called the Earned Income Tax Credit and modified it for essential workers so that, one, more people qualify by lowering the age to 18 and going all the way as high as you want to go, 120 years of age, then dropping raising the income qualification so more people would land in there, and then taking the amount of money they want to give you and making it bigger. The third stimulus was only temporary. They're making this a lifetime. So for every year that you work as essential worker and you're eligible, you get this earned income tax credit. Number two, a big shocker came out of nowhere. I had it nowhere on my radar. Up to $4,000 a year for a person who cares for the elderly. This could be potentially if you're an individual at home and you're caring for a senior. Up to $4,000 per year per person. Incredible. And guess what? It doesn't have to also be only seniors. It may also be children. They're having a provision there for caring for children up to $4,000 a year. Incredible. All right, how about the house? Yes, they will give you money for repairing a home in a low-income community. This is rehab or repair for a home in a low-income community. How about money for cars and vehicles? OMG, yes. First, want a bike? Personal use? Pleasure use? I don't care what the bike's for. They'll give you up to 15% if you purchase a new electric bike. Wow. Then, want a car for personal use? They'll pay you up to $7,500 for a new electric car if you buy from the number 3 major U.S. manufacturers. There's still talk underway to expand this eligibility for import manufacturers and also Tesla. And then if you want a car for business use, in addition to this, they're going to do one as well. Then what about students? Students are going to get money. They're taking the Pell Grant and making it tax-free. Then they're proposing to give lots of money to the students directly as a grant or to the colleges or both, so you can get those grants as well. There you go. That is the first 645 pages of the fourth stimulus reconciliation bill. It's just the first cluster of checks. I got 2 other clusters coming up in just a second. I'm going to get to those in a second. But let me explain to you what I'm reading from. This is the first 645 pages of what could be an 8,000-page bill. Why have only 645 pages been released? Because these were the easy items for the Democrats to agree upon and to write it up. How are they negotiating? Who are the people who are doing this? Democrats with Democrats. They don't need any Republicans. How are they coming to the agreement? Behind closed doors, not on broadcast media, not on C-SPAN, not on the Senate floor, not on the House floor, on the telephone or in each other's offices. What do? They meet, they say, what do you think about this item? I agree. Okay, let's go write it up. Once they had enough items, they said, go write it up. These were the easy items they agreed upon really quickly. The first 645, they wrote it up. It's done. So what's cluster number 2? In cluster number 2 of checks, which I'm going to show you in a second, these are checks that they have talked about every single day this week. And broadcast media and myself both agree they're going to get done. Why haven't they not been written up? They're going over likely the terms and conditions, the percentages and the payouts. Cluster number 3, which I'm going to go over right after that, are more checks, everything for seniors and workers. Those are checks the president has advocated for, and they're likely to get in there because they've been talked about since the very beginning. Wow, there you go. But first, let's cut back for a second to third stimulus with the breaking news happening today as $13 billion of more money is landing today in your city and state from IRS and Treasury for rent and utilities. This came out of nowhere. Third stimulus, which I cover in detail a lot on this channel, I'm going to get to later in this video, for rent, utilities, and food and internet. You may have been in a city, county, or state that ran out of money. Well, guess what? They won't have that problem in just an hour, a few hours, or a few days, because Treasury's sending them out another $13 billion nationwide. What's at issue? Third stimulus dedicated a total of $47 billion, but they sent it out in stages. They first sent out to the states $25 billion. Then they sent out another $9 billion. Well, guess what? They're sending out another $13 billion to replenish states that ran out of money. So if you're one of those people that called up your city or county or state and they said, we just ran out of it, get that number from your phone that you called and get ready to call them and say, hey, I have been told there's $13 billion landing. When is it landing? It may not be there exactly this moment. Maybe it's in there later this week or maybe early next week. Be first in line to get that money. Department of Treasury said the statement today. Department of Treasury Secretary Wally Adamo. Treasury is happy to provide the state and local government programs with this additional resources, $13 billion, to support Americans in need of rental assistance. Wow. And coming up in a second, I'm going to go over more about that third stimulus, but it's time for some more checks. Let's get some more checks. Let's turn to the second cluster. The second cluster of checks, incredible. Here are 12 of them, and I'll go over each of them one at a time. These are the items that they talk about every single day. They're likely to get this to a bill writing any moment. Item number one, more money for paid family leave and paid medical leave. What is that and how much is paid? Paid family leave is when you have to stay at home because of a wonderful event. Let's say your spouse got pregnant. You have to stay home because of that spouse. Paid medical leave is an unexpected event, like your son broke his leg, so you have to stay home and take care of him. This is for someone who has a job and has to stay home because of an event. How much does it pay? A fortune. Under third stimulus, they had proposed the following numbers. $1,700 for someone who makes $71,000 or more per year, and then prorate it down. So let's say you make half of that. Let's say you make $30,000 a year. Then you would get half of that, $800 a week. Let's say you make $15,000 a year. Then you would get about $400 a week. Yes, this is a lot of money. And this is paid medical and family paid medical and family leave under fourth stimulus. Second, expansion of the child care programs. Third, expansion of the household credits, including enhanced child credit. Next, the new expansion of new checks for weatherization of your home. What is weatherization of your home? If you want to make modifications to your home because of hurricanes, tornadoes, or fires, the federal government will give you money for that. This is wonderful. Then new Medicare benefits, including reducing eligibility. It's actually also in the third cluster. Checks for dental, checks for vision, and checks for hearing. And then the Affordable Care Act subsidies will be extended. Here come lots of money for students. This is more money for students. First, you have a child you want to send to pre-kindergarten, the federal government will pick up the tab. Then, if you're listening to this video and you say, he talks really funny, I don't understand what he's saying. Can someone translate him? Because I don't understand him. Guess what? You can go to your community college and take French, and they will pay for it. Yes. No, I'm not talking French. The federal government will pay for you to go to community college. And you don't have to get a degree. You can just go to community college to figure out what the world am I saying. And the federal government will pick up the tab for it. And then there's a few of other items that are very complicated, too complicated for this recording, like transportation and green energy. Wow, that is cluster number 2. And that's likely to get reduced to a bill writing any moment. All right, let's cut back to third stimulus. This is the money for rent, utilities, food, or internet. We have some inspiration stories, new ones today. At noontime, D. Miller, who goes by Danielle. I want to thank you, LALATE, because of watching your show. I got $18,000 for rent. I want to thank you for providing me the needed information. I appreciate that. And then Dragon, longtime viewer of this channel, always in the live chats, got $18,400 for SNAP, got $900 plus $2,300 for utilities, $12,000 for rent, total $33,600, and another $4,800 is possibly on the way for Cox. And guess what? I love this update. Someone on Morning's Countdown today said, LALATE, I watched you yesterday talk about the nonprofits, and I reached out to United Way, I believe it was United Way or Salvation Army, and they said no one was contacting them for rent, and they put me first on the list, and I think I'm going to get approved. Wow. Let's go over all that exciting details in just a second. But at first, I know what you're wondering. It's time to go over it. The Bernie equation. Wow. In a world exclusive 4 weeks ago, I told you that Senator Bernie Sanders also followed Senator Chris Coons in vowing to give you a monthly stimulus check. I'm going to go over what they had said, Chris Coons and Bernie Sanders, late in this video. But first, I'm going to deliver you the latest world exclusive, which happened late last night. You may have seen it on Evenings LA. As one viewer, Donnie, longtime viewer of this channel, picked up the phone and called Senator Bernie Sanders' staff and advocated, did not ask, did not have a question, advocated for a stimulus check and said yes. The staffer once again confirmed to the viewers of this channel, yes, there will be a fourth stimulus IRS check. Here you go. I called Senator Bernie Sanders, and his secretary said they are doing a fourth stimulus check. I said, this is why I need it. I need it. My city needs it. I need it to progress. I need it for my water and everything. I told her that. And she said, okay, they are doing a fourth. There you go. The world exclusive once again only on this channel. Later in this video, I'll be going over what Bernie's staff also has told all their viewers about that monthly IRS check, what Senator Chris Coons has told another viewer about a monthly stimulus check, and the equation of the Senate side versus the House in this as well. Really exciting details. But boy, I want to turn to the exciting money that viewers are getting across the board for rent and utilities. The excitement is that this channel is now showing people that third, fourth, and fifth are literally happening at the same time. This cash infusion of $13 billion from the federal government to your cities and counties and states is incredible, because there will be money for rent and utilities available right now. What I also want to make very clear, which I don't think I made clear yesterday, but I want to do it right today, is that third stimulus, rent, utilities, food, or internet may not be continued under fourth stimulus. So I want you to get it right now under third stimulus. Second, while we talk about rent often being because of COVID or with the word COVID in it, fourth stimulus is just stimulus. It's nothing to do with COVID. Lastly, there is money from third, fourth, and fifth all across the board that covers everyone from single individuals to seniors, to SSI to SSDI, to workers to non-workers, to single people and non-single people. And boy, did I leave out the biggest check of all of them? I did. I left out one of the biggest checks from that first 645 pages. Just dawned on me. $51,000. Yes. The federal government will be expanding the third stimulus item for the children to a lifetime benefit. How does this work? If you are a parent and you have a child and you're in a low-income household and you remain in a low-income household for the next 18 years, you will get paid upwards of $51,000 over 18 years. It will be paid approximately $300 a month every month per child for those 18 years that you are eligible. And that amounts to $51,000 of MSC's monthly stimulus checks. If you tuned into last night's broadcast, I said the new language I'm using on this channel is that when we're referring to the Bernie equation, we're going to refer to it as the IRS MSC or the IRS check. And that everything, because there is already now confirmed MSCs in the fourth stimulus, but they're not the IRS check. They're like this one, and they're the multiple checks. There's lots of checks for you to get under that 645 pages. Coming up after the commercial break, we're going to go to the third cluster. There's a whole other third cluster of checks. I'm going to go over what they are, And then I'm going to go over the big sums of money you can get right today. I'm going to go over more about, of course, what you're wondering, that Bernie equation and the promise for those MSC IRS checks from Bernie. That's coming up in the second half of this video. And then the nuance of how they combine all this together and call for a vote, House versus Senate. It's all breaking, and it's all at noontime. It's coming after this commercial break. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement at noontime continues right now, live from Santa Monica, as we go over more about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. We'll be going over more about Bernie's push to put multiple IRS stimulus checks in this fourth stimulus recon. We'll go over the calculations of that as well. Then we'll be turning back to the core and bread and butter of this reconciliation budget bill that has MSCs and has a lot of checks still to be written up. Those are cluster number 3. I'll be going over cluster number 3 coming up in a second. Then we'll be cutting back as well to third stimulus, and that's starting right now, as the federal government has surprised everyone with another $13 billion. That's for your rent, for your utilities, and as that viewer Phaedra asked during the commercial break, and for your mortgage assistance as well. And this is LALATE, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers. I want you part of this incredible family. Thank you for the last 2 days being on fire. Like the video and consider becoming a member. Let's cut right into the exciting details that no one saw coming. Your Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen, surprised everyone today by saying she has another $13 billion. Guess what? They had not sent out all the money for rent, utilities, and food and internet. And so, if you have reached out to a city or county or state by watching this channel and they said we're out of money, get that phone number you got before to call them and get ready to call them again and say, I heard another $13 billion's coming. They may not have it today, they may have it later this week, they may have it next week, but they 100% will have it. Now let's go over the sums of money you can get, and guess what? I have a surprise for you on this rent and utilities and more starting right now. Yesterday, we saw the incredible inspiration stories from Lorica, Suelan, Patrice, and Jen, who got $38,000. Let me show you the money you can get right now by showing you how high the numbers are first going. We're going to start with the rent. You just saw Jen getting $38,000 of rent. Look at what's happened to this channel. In less than 2 weeks, the numbers have gone from $20,000 of rent to $40,000 of rent. This weekend, we were introduced, actually on Monday, we were introduced to Mark's brother-in-law. Who's Mark? You remember Mark? He's the guy who got $51,000 from this channel. Well, he told his brother-in-law about this channel, and the brother-in-law got $15,000 for utilities. Look at what's happened. We've gone up 300% from $5,000 to $15,000 for utilities. We were at $5,000 for Snap a few weeks ago. Guess how much Mark's brother-in-law got for Snap? $21,000. A lot of people are getting close to $20,000 for Snap. And guess how much that Snap is now going to be worth? Upwards of $26,000. So let's go over all the details, how you get this big money right now. Get that pen, paper ready, and that cell phone. We're going to get some rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and homeowners assistance. And this is third stimulus. This money is still paying out. This became law earlier this year, but it's going to be paying out for a few more weeks. It's great news. And get it here because it's likely not to repeat itself under fourth stimulus when that becomes law. Here are the first introductory remarks. I'm going to show you 6 places to reach out to. Reach out to all 6. Number 2, listen to the keywords I say in this video. It really helps. Number 3, every state will be having money for you in the next few days because they're being replenished with another $13 billion. And finally, I brought back the nonprofits, and I have a big surprise for you about the nonprofits as well. All right, here are the 6 places you reach out to. Your city hall, your city housing authority. Your county hall, your county housing authority. Your state hall, and your state housing authority. The keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. Now, I also want you to reach out to every single one of your utility companies. So if you have 5, reach out to 5. Utility assistance because of COVID. Here's the big surprise. 2 days ago, I brought back into this channel the nonprofits. The nonprofits have paid viewers a fortune for this channel in 2020 and 2021 for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, yes, Phaedra, and also other items like that. Well, guess what? A viewer on Morning's Countdown this morning, every day at 7 a.m., was in the live chat with me and said, "Thank you, LALATE. I watched your video yesterday. I reached out to United Way, and they said I was the only person who had reached out to them for rent. I'm first on the list, and I think I'm going to get it." Incredible news. So here are the nonprofits again. United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, St. Vincent de Paul. Again, United Way, Community Action, Catholic Charities, St. Vincent de Paul, and Salvation Army. The great news also is that a very popular show from this channel of earlier this year for third stimulus called Purple is back on. It now airs on this channel at 11:30 p.m. every night on this channel. It aired last night, so you can go watch it right after this video. It goes over these nonprofits in detail. It also goes over some other nonprofits that are located in some states. Like Michigan has a lot of specific nonprofits for their state, and Missouri. So that show is purple. The title is purple, and the graphic image is purple. Every day on this channel at 11:30, there was one that aired last night. All right, with that, time to go back to the exciting details of the other monies for you to get. SNAP. I want you to get that SNAP. Pick up the phone and call Department of Agriculture. You want to reach out to them, and it pays a fortune. Eligibility is easy, a stimulus check, and the great news is that everyone's benefits are going up an average of 25% lifetime automatically starting in October. So Mark's brother-in-law, who's getting paid $21,000, is now going to be sitting on top of $26,000. Finally, a refund check coming back from your state, yes, due to overpayment of unemployment benefits. That's landed by direct deposit or otherwise in the mail. And then the IRS refund check coming back from IRS, that's the 2020 taxes you paid unemployment benefit, the 2020 taxes you paid on the unemployment benefits. The average payout refund check is $1,200 to $2,000. It's landing by direct deposit otherwise in the mail. You can do an IRS transfer search for that as well. And with that, we go into the final 15 minutes of this video with going back to Bernie and the third cluster of checks starting right now. Well, here we go. What's important to understand is that there is a third cluster of checks, and these are likely to get into the fourth stimulus recon when they finish writing these as well. These are the ones the president has proposed, and these are likely to get in there because the Democratic caucus really likes them. Here they are. Free school meals for all, checks. Checks for cheaper prescription medication. Checks for farmers. Checks for free internet. Checks for clean energy. Checks for seniors alike, lowering eligibility age for Medicare. Checks for dental. Checks for vision. Checks for hearing. And checks for independent contractors and checks for workers. Some of those checks are automatic. Some of them are nearly automatic. One of them that's automatic is the cheaper prescription medication. They're going to do this in a way that you would literally show up the next day and save fortunes. For example, let's say you go to the pharmacy on a Monday and pay $30 for a prescription. Then this becomes law on Tuesday. You go back to refill the prescription a week later, and suddenly you pay $10. You're saving $20 in instant savings. They're doing this by slashing the preferred rate between the federal government and certain medical providers. Next, the free internet for your local cities and counties. How are they going to do this? They're going to give fortunes to the local cities and counties so they can offer you free internet so you don't have to pay for it. This may be as simple as saying, hi, I live here. And they say, okay, here's the username and password for the Wi-Fi. There you go. All right, let's turn then to the exciting details of the IRS MSC. IRS MSD is a new terminology I use in this channel to refer to the one that comes from IRS, because we now know the first 645 pages of the reconciliation bill has monthly checks and has MSCs, but those are slightly different than this one, which you want to hear about. Well, Bernie Sanders' staff, in no less than twice on this, no less than several times, has told viewers of this channel, yes, he will be putting a monthly stimulus check in the forced stimulus recon. And the incredible details is he's not the only Democratic senator who said that. It started about 7 weeks ago on this channel where I said, pick up the phone and advocate. Pick up the phone and advocate. Advocate is a sentence. It's not a question mark. Advocate means pick up the phone and say, I need a stimulus check. And WR, a longtime viewer of this channel, picked up the phone and did that. It was about 8 weeks ago and called Senator Chris Coons, Democrat, Delaware, Coons, and said, I need a stimulus check. I want to tell you my story, why I need it, what's going on in my family, what's going on in my community, my church, my town, my business. I want to tell you why I need a stimulus check. And Senator Chris Coons' staffer told WR, yes, he will be putting a monthly stimulus check in there. Wow. This morning, Chris WR, the viewer, was in the morning's countdown show, and someone said, I'm praying for a stimulus check. He said, prayer is good, but calling is better. You need to pick up the phone and call. Don't be passive about the situation. And advocacy means saying something with a sentence that ends in a period, not a question mark. When, where, how, is it not? That's a question mark. No one wants to hear a lot of questions. They want to hear advocacy. They want to hear, I need it. I need to tell you why I need it. They want the humanizing story of the situation. And that's what happened 3 weeks ago as well. When we're looking at the first 300, I keep on getting the page count wrong. When we're looking at the first 345 pages of the reconciliation bill released, who wrote that? The House Budget Committee wrote it. But guess what? On the Senate, there's a budget committee as well, and that's chaired by Bernie Sanders. And that Senate Budget Committee, its chairman, has been taking up the reconciliation as well. And 2 weeks ago, Bernie Sanders says, I'm different than a prior budget chairman. I like to get out amongst the people. I said, that means he wants to hear from you. He wants you to advocate to him what he should do with the budget as the budget chairman. I said, pick up the phone and advocate. And Brother Joshua, Lynn, Glenn, and Margaret did. What did Brother Joshua do? He's a longtime 2020 volunteer to the community page, viewer and Purple Hawk, and he picked up the phone and advocated. This is why I need it. This is why my church needs it. This is why my community needs it. I need to tell you why I need it. And the staffer told Brother Joshua from Bernie Sanders' office, yes, he will be putting a monthly fourth stimulus check in the fourth stimulus recon. Number one, it will be monthly. Number two, it'll be $1,000 to somewhere between $1,000 and $1,400. Number three, it will run somewhere between 3 to 6 months. And finally, Bernie Sanders needs your support. We got this, Purple Power. Pick up the phone and call. Call Elizabeth Warren. Call Chris Coons. Call Bernie. Call Chuck. Call your Democratic senators and advocate. Advocacy starts with explaining your situation. People want to hear the human element. They want to hear your story. What's going on with your home, your household, your family? I need it because of this. I need it because of that. They want to hear your human story so that they resonate with you. And guess what? Well, here we go. There's an equation at issue which is fascinating when you're looking at the House and the Senate, and I'm going to explain it to you right now. Who agreed upon these first pages of the reconciliation bill? The Senate and the House Democrats. Who wrote it? The House Democrats. I was the first to tell you several months ago that the House Democrats are likely to write the legislation. Who's likely to call the vote first? I'm the first to tell you also, I believe the House will call the vote first on what is ostensibly the recon substantive. When they call that vote first, they're going to approve the reconciliation. Then it goes over to the Senate Democrats. What happens there? A two-day event called the Vote-a-Rama. What do senators have the opportunity to do? Senate Democrats like Bernie, like Chris Coons, like Ron Wyden, who wants to give you a stimulus check as well, like Elizabeth Warren, can modify what they got from the House. Modification usually involves going up or adding more money. Senators are not likely to take things out. They're likely to look at the $4,000 for caring for the elderly, or the $1,700 a week for paid sick leave, or something like that, and taking the number and raising it up, or increasing the eligibility, or higher percentages, more money to you. They can also add things in there. So important in this equation to understand that the Senate Democrats really have your back, and you show that you have their back. And when that goes back to the House is going to prove that, because the House members have no problem spending money. So long as the senators say they want to do it, the House members will do it as well. So let's step back and understand where we are with third, fourth, and fifth stimulus all happen at the same time. It may sound overwhelming, but it is, because third stimulus, which was passed earlier this year for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and internet, today is getting an additional $13 billion cash infusion from the federal government. So every city and county and state that you may have reached out to has said, I have no money. They now will have money. I've been doing this a long enough time, for over a year and a half, that I've seen New York had money, didn't have money, had money, didn't have money. Same thing in California, had money, didn't have money, had money, didn't. They will all have money again in just a few days. It reminds me of Kevin Lee, a longtime viewer of this channel from Texas, who heard about Dallas having money and he pounced. Within 4 days, they were out of the money. That's how these things happen. So I want you to pounce, contact your local establishment first. Also, the nonprofits are already we're seeing the success story with one viewer with the nonprofits, where I just brought back in the mix in less than 24 hours. The nonprofits can help you with this money. Remember, this third stimulus money not likely to be included in fourth stimulus. So get it here. There's a lot of it. Then fourth stimulus. The first part of what could be an 8,000-page bill with 645 pages of reconciliation checks for you. Checks of all kinds that qualify for single individuals, adults, married couples, non-married, children not married, SSI and SSDI, seniors, checks for all types of people. The first 645 pages is just that. Just 645 pages with 2 other clusters to write. When they finish writing those 2 other clusters, then they're combined, and that's your total bill. A lot of excitement. And what about fifth stimulus? Yes, fifth stimulus is starting to write right now. And fifth stimulus is the modification to the SSI and SSDI system. This will likely go to vote later this year around November. First, they'll raise your benefits up if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security Railroad benefits. Then they'll apply a new benchmark. The new benchmark is inflation. The inflation rate is expected to be transitory. It's expected to go up in December and then come back down. How high? I'd say about 5%. So how's this going to work? First, they'll raise your benefits up one time. Then they'll apply a new benchmark. The new benchmark is inflation. That inflation benchmark will be used every year. But if it's 5% in December, wow, your benefits will go up another 5%. Not just next year, lifetime. Because once your benefits go up, they never go down. They're going to remove the asset cap dating back to a 1980s law that says you can have more than $3,000 on hand. They're going to remove the income cap dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't have more than that says you can't work and stay on benefits. And finally, the marriage penalty is going to go away. And love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest. Finally, if you have not signed up to become a Purple Hawk, what are you doing? The membership link is under this video. Purple Hawks are delivered daily. Purple Hawks, Purple Powers, and Castino VIPs are delivered daily from me to you. A breakdown of all the big money available under first, second, and third stimulus. And when fourth stimulus is finished being written up, it'll be included in there as well. It's important to understand that members of this channel are getting fortunes from these first through third stimulus packages. I want to thank all the Purple Hawks who sent these incredible messages in the last 24 hours. Lorica, who got a MasterCard. Stay Lori Swelon, who's getting $6,000 a snap. Patrice, who got $15,000. Jen, of course, who got $38,000, has now helped everyone in her town, in her apartment complex. And she also says, my husband works with government officials and continually is pushing your channel as well. It's not only informative, motivating, and directly needed for our public. Finally, I want to thank someone's very nice comment earlier today. Said, LALATE explains things so clearly. That's my inspiration as well. Finally, thank you for the last 48 hours. Absolutely on fire. The biggest 48 hours of this channel for the last 3 months. You see what's happening. There's a lot of money being replenished now under third stimulus because of this $13 billion cash infusion from IRS Treasury. We have the nonprofits now stepping up and also paying for that money again, which is great news. Rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, SNAP, internet. Then for stimulus, getting very excited as the first 645 pages of potentially an 8,000-page bill released. All checks for you, 645 pages of it. Then cluster number 2 and 3 still about to be written, but not yet written. And when they are included, you already know how they're panning out. We're waiting for the deals and the numbers. And finally, the IRS stimulus check. The push underway by Chris Coons, Ron Wyden, Elizabeth Warren, and of course, Bernie Sanders. A lot happening, and I'm next back with you at Afternoons LATE at 1 o'clock. This video will automatically take you there. Then the Afternoons LATE news show at 3. Evenings LA at 5. And if you didn't catch it, boy, we got some new programming on this channel. We now have shows at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11:30 on this channel. Back on at 11:30 is that purple show that shows you about how to get money for rent and utilities from the nonprofits like United Way. And then business grants back on this channel for information about how to get business money for your business. And coming back soon, I think it's tomorrow, is our SSI and SSDI show as well. So much happening across the board. I'm excited. So make sure you subscribe. 400,000 subscribers on YouTube. Recognize what you're part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Casino VIP. See you on Afternoons LA, with this video will automatically take you there after this video is over. Stay informed, stay focused, stay informed, keep smiling, and stay with LA for more.